Well, that was another chilly night at high altitude, but today, hopefully, looking at the road book, we should be able to get down to the Gorafe desert. It was nice to see the mountains yesterday with a dusting of snow on them, but I've had enough of it now. Like I want to get into the warm weather again, so hopefully we should get there at some point today. So I've just pulled over for a quick lunch stop. Not messing around here, mind. Having a nice bit of fried fresh salmon, topped with an egg. Bit of pita bread on there as well. So we've come to a section on the road book where there's a river, but it says there's a bridge, but there isn't. So what I've done is I've got a stick, and because we can't see the bottom of the river, I've just kind of got a bit of a feel for the depth initially going in, and it's just very murky. It's not as deep as I thought. The only problem is here, you can see this is like, it's almost like quicksand, but once you get into that section, there's lots of stones. So what I'm going to do is get a bit of speed up, try and welly through this soft mud, and if the front wheels can get traction on the stones there in the middle of the river, we should be able to pull ourselves through. It's always just worth coming out and having a look, and I mean, you could just bomb straight through it, but I don't think we'll have much problems. Yes, there was a bit of a change of plan. We were going to head down to the Gorafe desert, but it was getting a bit late. It was like 4 o'clock. I'm not really sure of the situation for wild camping in that desert. I don't know if it's a national park or not. So we headed down to this reservoir. It's called the Embalse de Negratin, I think. Might be able to see it behind me there. I'd located this spot on Google Maps before we left, and I made a note of the coordinates. Basically, there's a tarmac road that leads down to a beach. It's actually a nudist beach, and there's a couple of cars parked up there. So if that's your thing, you could head down there. But there's a dirt track that comes off it for maybe it's about 6 or 7, well, maybe not that far, probably about 5 kilometres, and you end up in this area here. There's nothing around really. There's a few houses over the other side of the reservoir, but as you can see, it's a fairly quiet place. The track doesn't look to be overly used either. There's lots of grass growing in the middle of it, so hopefully I'll be able to get away with spending the night here. well. We managed another successful wild camp down by the Embalse del Negratin. Not a bad spot if you're in the area, I recommend it. Make sure you come off the tarmac road though and head down the dirt track, otherwise you'll end up over there. And there was people coming and going all night in cars and vans and stuff, but down this end we haven't seen anybody. A boat came over this morning from the other side of the lake, but it was just a couple of fishermen. They're just heading off now, and I hung around here for about 20 minutes. So we're going to head up to Gorafe now. Might try and stop in the town and get a bit of breakfast or something, and then head out onto the road book to follow the dirt track through the desert. It's only a short dirt track and it's about an hour detour, but I wouldn't like to leave without seeing it. I'm not ashamed to admit I was terrified there. Oh Christ. There was the Gorafe Turismo 4x4. Obviously had some passengers with them, some paying customers. Stood at the top watching us get up there. But they didn't bother going down, they just turned round. But the problem is when you start these ascents, you just don't know what's around the corner. You know, you don't know what condition the track's in. That's whether you're going up or down. You go around a bend, and I mean, if you look at this now, it's nice gravel, and you think, oh well, the rest of the track's going to be fairly well maintained. But when we came around there, that just wasn't the case. It was heavily rutted by both tyres and what looked like rain. But I'll just give you a look at it now. Probably doesn't look as bad from up here, but there's that switchback there that I had the grief on. You can just see it comes back in on itself. But yep. And there's the track that runs off. Beautiful scenery, mine, but you just got to be careful when you're starting to come up on it. We're trying to get out of the Gorafe desert area before this storm comes in. You can see it looming over the mountains, and it looks like it's going to empty a ton of rain. And we're not really sure how the track is further up. It's in fairly bad condition in some parts, and I reckon a load of rain will just make things much worse. It's now snowing. It's unreal. It's unbelievable. We were trying to get down off the desert plateau because we could see this big rain cloud. But yeah, that was a snow. That was a snow cloud. It's Andalusia. That's snowing.